You might know him as the star of the Thundermans on Nickelodeon, our movie Sid is Dead, or the vocalist for his band Kid Baron. Today's guest is Jack Griffo. Jack Griffo, thank you for joining us. This is the American Eye Podcast. Very exciting. We only want to chat with people who have been in our movies and who are our favorites, and you are among the top of that list for many years. Jack, this is Aiden Micho, who is
what up,
part of
Aiden?
How's it going?
He's part of our sketch crew. Have you ever seen any of the American Eye sketches?
The dad thing, bro. It's phenomenal.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Hey, buddy, how's it
Nice.
going?
Okay.
Yo, I need to audition, bro. I need to be in the next one.
What's this? What'd you executive produce? What's that sign back there?
The Thundermans return.
You're an EP on that?
Whoa.
Yeah,
My God.
it was pretty
That's pretty
legit,
cool.
dude. Yeah, it
That's
was pretty
pretty cool.
cool. We shot on New York Street for like a few days. It was sick.
Wait, on which street?
Paramount, New York Street. Like New York
Oh,
Street.
fake New York Street. I was like, there's this. That's dope.
What'd you
Well,
do
for us,
as-
that's where we shot the show. So to be able to like shoot on the New York Street backlot, which we always would just walk through and like, oh, this shot there, it's so famous or whatever. And to be shooting on the lot was pretty surreal. Yeah.
What else shot there? Is that like the Friends or the?
Dude, the other shows that I've shot on my stage alone are like Frasier, old back in the day, and then some kids will probably know True Jackson VP
Yes.
on Nickelodeon, which was so phenomenal. And Marvin, which I was actually on before the Thundermans.
Dude, that segues perfectly. So like a big thing of what we want to ask people is, everyone went through high school. Not everyone went to college. I want to know about your high school experience. We want to know, what is it in high school that like sparked this thing that made you so successful? So if you wouldn't mind taking us back, where did you grow up? Where did you go to high school? When did acting start?
Well, it really brings me back to the First Academy in Orlando. That was kind of my first like school structure. That was like a K through 12 school. So I
Yeah.
was in there from kindergarten till 5th grade. I know we're talking about high school, but if we're really going all the way back,
Let's take it all the way back.
it kind of even when I was in kindergarten through 5th grade, it was a K through 12. So like we did know the high schoolers a little bit, like when we'd be
Wait
at
a second.
the
You went
games
through
and
it-
pep rallies and stuff. What's that?
You went to a K through 12 school?
Yeah, like a private Christian school. Yeah.
I didn't know that existed. So like would like
Yeah.
second graders be in the same campus?
We
and-
wouldn't like see them in the halls. We're not like with them
you
on,
like pick on like a third
We're
grader?
not playing football with them,
I don't know. Okay.
How many people?
But
were in
like
this
yeah,
class?
like it's like a bigger campus, and so I kind of did have that big academic feel from the start. And I feel like that is probably why I pushed against it so much and went the artistic way, because I just never was one for school. I did not like it. I had to force myself to like it, and even especially when I came to LA and I wasn't in like a traditional school with friends. Like for all intents and purposes, I was pretty much homeschooled once I came out here when I was 13, except for like one little stint, which we can get into. But yeah,
You moved to LA when you were 13?
yes, sir.
Oh. And so did you go to a high school, or did you do like the Chispa thing where you like got legal 18?
The what?
Isn't it Chispa where you like is that not, am I blowing it? I know that legal 18, whatever. What is it?
The Chesapeake, bro.
Chesapeake, Chispa.
I
You
just
did
want to document the Chisup just now.
you did the Chester, right? Did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I actually wanted to because, like I said, I didn't like school. But my parents wanted me to go, like, do the actual, not in person, but, like, actually the time that it takes you to graduate high school and graduate at 18, when people
Yeah.
who take the Chesapeake could graduate at 14, and just take that whole time of life not doing that thing.
You know what's funny is that doesn't work in New York. Whenever we were shooting a movie and we had people who were like 15 or 16 and their agents would always be like, they're legal 18. It does not translate to New York. And so we could only have them
Really?
shoot for like 6 hours. Yeah. It's like an LA specific thing. But that's crazy. So I want to hear more about that because obviously that I'm sure made your schedule on Thundermans like insane. But all right, so you're in Orlando before 13 moving to LA. Were you acting anything there? We had a little bit of research done. It looks like you did your first commercial at the age of 2. What was that?
First of all, the research is awesome.
We got all sorts of notes.
Thank you for asking, such good questions. I mean, yeah, like, do I remember it? Like, maybe it's a little fuzzy.
There's no chance. If you remembered it, I would be like, no, bullshit. But I'm sure you remember what it was.
Yeah, like my mom just had connections, I guess, and I was in print stuff when I was a baby. Yeah.
So what was the commercial?
There's one for Toys R Us. Ironically, I did a Nickelodeon commercial when I was like 3 or something like that.
Do you remember? Do you remember what it was for? Have you ever brought that up with anyone at Nick?
I think it's come up. Yeah, I think it's come up in like either like small little interviews, but like no, it's not something that is like super known.
All right, so you had a dabbling in acting then. Was your mom in the industry or your parents in the industry? What made them want to put you in commercials?
So basically, I'm a kind of an only child, but like not. I have half siblings, like 4 of them. So 2 from my mom, 2 from my dad. They're all 4 way older. Like closest to me is like 7 years older, and oldest
almost
is like
got the Brady Bunch going on.
Yeah, kind of a his, mine, and ours situation. Everyone used to say.
Cool.
And I was the only one they had together. So basically, I grew up with my mom's kids because when parents got married, like my mom's kids came and lived with their mom, soon to be our mom, and my dad. And so I grew up with older siblings that basically like loved theater and like they were just theater geek kids in high school.
Yeah.
Like Glee and school shows and singing and the whole thing. And there was a big theater magnet program in Orlando that they attended called Dr. Phillips High School, and they had a big section for the arts. It was really, really cool, and some great faculty, especially at that time. And so growing up, I went to the shows. I went to see Grease, and I went to see Oklahoma, and I didn't go to the basketball and the football games as much, when I was a kid. That's what I really looked forward to the most, and seeing my older brothers do it at a high level at that age. I was just inspired to get to know it more and try it myself, and it's just one of those things that you immediately just fall in love with. Like, I just love performing, and I think that can mean a lot of different things, and that's what's so cool about being this kind of an artist, is that there's a lot of different mediums for performance.
You must have done a school play. What was your favorite school play, and what was your role?
Really, the only school play that I remember doing, like like a senior, like high production. I mean, I got in probably when I was maybe like 11 or 12 or something like that. I played the paper boy in The Music Man. As in the first scene on the train where he goes, "What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? Where'd you get it?"
Now we're talking.
That was my thing. And then I was like in. I was so
in, baby.
Yeah. Just that funny kind of timing of, that scene, and that musical is very kind of upbeat and quirky. It just got me from, age 12 or whatever it was. And then I started taking classes. Like, I started doing like classes downtown Orlando for like film and TV, like kind of more audition style for LA, sort of.
Was there like what was the scene like in Orlando when you were a kid? Was it, because I remember like I had a friend that went to New York Film Academy Orlando or something like that. I feel like Universal and Orlando were the dominating things. Was there any sort of opportunity like that?
So Universal is like a huge influence on me, actually, because literally thinking about Dr. Phillips High School where my brothers went, and a lot of my friends ended up going to, because it's a big high school in our area, like the closest public high school to where my house was. Right across the street were the Dueling Dragons of Universal Studios. Like, you
really?
could
Damn.
hear the from chemistry class. So that's a really good image into what Orlando is like as a kid. It's like you're be busy being a kid, but like there's all this other stuff going on, like especially in the art world, and just socially, like it's just a big, vibrant city. Yeah, it's a good place to grow up.
Is your family still there?
My mom's here. We're all kind of spread out. My dad lives out of the country. He lives on the other side of the world in the Philippines. My mom's here. My Yeah, three of my brothers are in two of my brothers and my sister are in Virginia Beach now, where my mom is from, and then my oldest brother is in New York City. He's been there for like since he went to college after Dr. Phillips High School. You know, both of my brothers ended up going to New York for theater college. You know, getting their degrees. You know, and so that was kind of my original plan, was to do that like them, and then this whole LA thing started happening. Yeah.
Do you ever visit your dad in the Philippines? I have a direct
I
reason
have
for
never
asking
done
this
it.
question.
No.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Do
I've
you know
never done
where?
it. He comes here like maybe twice a year, but and it's been maybe like 6, 7 years that he's been out there, and haven't done it.
Have you ever heard of El Nido?
No.
It's spelled EL space NIDO, and it's like the most beautiful place in the world. And at one point during like COVID, I made it like a life mission to always have enough money in my bank account to buy a ticket to El Nido, so that if something goes wrong, it's like that's the ripcord.
Is
It's
it
the
in the Philippines?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
coolest place. It's in the Palawan Islands in the Philippines. El Nido, man. I like if you were to say like your dad lives in like a tent in El Nido,
He
I'd be like,
doesn't. He lives in a really like busting city, bro. He lives in Manila,
damn.
which is like, but he goes to all those cool places.
So, anyways, in the past when we've done this podcast, it's a lot of what we do, and a lot of when you were out here for Sid is Dead, you knew that what fuels our love of high school movies is firsts, right? Your first this, your first that. That's what makes life so interesting, is because you're trying untested waters. So you moved from Florida to LA at 13. That's right when we're getting to our sweet spot of high school. What happens? Do you go to high school? Do you go right into auditioning? What's the situation?
I feel like the schoolings went through phases, right? Like at first was like my regular school in Florida, and then I jumped to being online right in that 8th grade year. And ninth grade, I was still maybe like 14 at this point. In ninth grade, I was meeting the same kind of friends, doing those acting classes, and I did one more year of Florida Virtual. So ninth was online as well.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I'm auditioning for stuff. I'm doing like small things, but not like something as big as like a guest star at this point on like a Disney or Nick show. This was just like commercials here and there here in LA, and like I was auditioning for big stuff, but I was really like kind of grinding my teeth.
What made you move? What was it? Your family? Was it your mom? It sounds like
So
your
yeah,
mom moved with you. Was it because there was a spark of something that there was like, oh shit, he could be an
what it
actor, or was it?
honestly was that, like I said earlier in the podcast, my original dream was to go to New York and do what my brothers did.
Right.
But in the summer before 8th grade, when we ended up moving, I had been doing those film and TV classes downtown in Orlando, and they constantly are talking about LA, and that we should go to LA. And yeah, something just shifted in my mind at age 13, and I just asked my parents. I sat them down and I said, next year is 8th grade. Grades don't really matter yet. I think I want to go to LA. I think I want to like shift gears and not go to New York for college, but go to LA like now, and like see what happens, and like see what I can do. And they had such support, and they believed in me, and my mom ended up coming with me to LA, and yeah, that's how I got here. And then fast forward, I did virtual school for a while, started making my friends, doing classes, auditioning, and then 10th grade was not only the year that I got the Thundermans, but it was the year that I went to like a semi-real kind of school for the first time for high school. It was called Brighton Hall. It used to be called San Fernando Valley Professional School. A couple of my friends had been. It was kind of the semi-normal school that me and my family had heard about, that might be good. And so I went for 10th grade, where I, actually went physically into school, small class. We're talking like 100 kids,
Oh wow.
from 9th to 12th grade.
Oh, 100 kids from
If
9th
that,
to
if
12th.
that.
Holy cow.
And a lot would go in and out because it was kind of an actor's school, right? Like he was in Burbank. It was specifically for kids, that would get kicked out of a regular school because they missed so many days on set. It was for kids who were pursuing it but not doing it full time yet on set. You know what I mean? And so a lot of my friends I still have today went to that school. It's still a thing today. Brighton Hall, shout out. And I only got through like a little over half of a year in that school until I booked the finals.
What does an assignment look like in that school? Is it like, all right, it's due Friday, unless your series gets picked up, in which case, like, you tell the director.
Yeah, like that's the point. Like the teachers are like super lenient, and for the most part, and the school really works with you and whatever. But like I said, I didn't love it, to be honest, or anything. They treated me well, but that's the only close thing I had to high school. And honestly, the whole time I didn't really want to be there. I wanted to be on set, or doing something outside, or going to a new spot in LA. At that point, I was just loving being in Hollywood so much and getting to know the neighborhoods, and really just being just compelled by everything around you here. That's why everyone loves it here so much. As an artist, everything is so inspiring, and the people are so inspiring, and just to be in a creative space constantly is cool.
We're firsts. You brought that up. Do you remember your first kiss?
It's kind of a two-parter, because my first kiss was not on the lips; it was on the cheek, and I remember that. And then that was in Orlando, in my neighborhood, under a tree, with like the prettiest girl in the neighborhood named Paige.
Yes.
Did you give
blonde
or
hair?
receive?
Never have not kept in touch with her. Paige, if you're out there, I love you.
You gave her one kiss? Well, again, you were probably 12, right? So
I was probably like 10 or 11 or 12, yeah.
That's pretty good. Kiss on the cheek at 12.
So kiss on the
That's
cheek then,
something to
and
tell everyone about.
Yeah, and then my first kiss was when I came to LA. The first year I was in LA, and it was for a scene.
Oh, and was there
Yeah.
any like that? I mean, if that's your actual first kiss, was that crazy? Like after the scene, did you have to talk to her and be like, "Hey, is there feelings here?" Or was it like truly just professional?
No, well,
Right?
this girl ended up being a good friend, and we might have practiced on each other a couple more times.
All right, perfect. I mean, because when you're at that age, it's like, if we have to for work.
Yeah, and a lot of people would say, "Well, that's not your first kiss," and I'd say, "Well, it is." So it doesn't matter what the situation is. Like that's the first time you're doing that. So. Other than that, like that was my first kiss, but I really don't remember the first like in real life. I remember the first in real life like makeout session.
Okay, was that a high school thing? We're trying to find high school moments here. What was it all?
It was in high school.
Hollywood with you, Jack Griffo. Was there any high school?
Hollywood is my high school, So yeah, the makeout was with the same girl who I did the scene with.
Did you go on a date after the fact, and you were like,
we were just friends, and then she ended up actually moving back to Florida, ironically where I'm from. So she's not out here anymore. But yeah, her name's Sophie. Sophie's the best.
You're in LA, car town. What was your first car? When did you learn to drive?
My first car was a 2013 Mustang.
Damn, really?
Yeah, it was sick. It was my first car. It was black. And I was sick because I was 16, so it was my 10th grade year, sophomore year, getting the show, and I got a brand new Mustang.
Was that right when you got the show? Was that like you got the show and then you used the first check to buy the Mustang?
Pretty much. It was that year, so like it was definitely the thing,
All right, so like this is a question I've always had. I grew up. I'm a little bit older than you, but I think a lot of the same Disney shows apply. Or not Disney, Nickelodeon. What was that like? Like when you got the show, how did it's like a 3-part question. how did your life change? Was it weird walking around? Like, I imagine everyone at the Grove and places, like, girls were just like, Jack. And then also, like, do they make you guys all hang out together? Did you hang with iCarly and Victoria Justice? And
So it was I'll start it like this. It was a slow burn when you get on a show. It doesn't just like when you get the call. Not everybody knows you got that call. So you're talking at least a year before people know. Really, you got to like shoot the whole first season and like obviously my life changes immediately because I'm gonna go to work. But if you're talking about like the perception and people at the Grove, like all that, like that didn't happen really for maybe like a few years after being on the show. Like really when it was like done. I mean, no, it was people definitely recognized me when it was on, but it's only gotten more. Yeah, as the show has lived on and it went on Netflix, and so a whole new kind of group of kids were watching on there. And now with the movie that we shot last year, like there was just so much buzz last year, even just when we were on set. Me and Kira we're seeing a lot of engagement online and fans who love the show and are excited about it. So I think we're all super super stoked about what's gonna happen next year with Thundermans. Yeah.
you have like a huge social media following. How do you deal with that? How, like, do you have ideas on how to use that? Do you care about it? Do you like, what do you do with such a big following?
Being online has changed so much in the past 10 years that it isn't what it was when I got all those fans. And that's not what I was trying to do. I didn't ask for that or this. I do have a lot of influence, and some people even say like, why don't you use it more? And it's like, I didn't ask for this. Like I want to perform. And I'm not an influencer, and I don't really work the system, and I don't post enough content. But and maybe that would get me some money, but like I feel like there's a lot of value in not to shame anyone, but just privacy, at least for me, and keeping a lot for me and to myself. And I think there is a world in some day where I do feel so open to sharing more of myself and being online more. I think that's definitely possible, but just growing up under the spotlight in kind of a way that you didn't really expect, and this whole fame thing is it's a lot of pressure, and sometimes I feel like people like myself kind of need that disengagement of that for a while after something ends. So I had that after Thundermans ended. It took like 4 years until my life started to kind of shift for this music thing. And I'm still doing acting, but a new passion that is taking my attention away.
That kind of formed your high school existence. Did you ever feel like you wanted to go to college? Did you ever feel like you wanted to do like that sort of thing, or were you just pretty content and like wanting to roll into art?
I was pretty content. Like I honestly didn't start thinking about college until like later, until I was like 23 or 24. I was like, maybe I will go to school and for whatever I want. And I kind of did have a desire to have that education, and I still think about it sometimes. Like I don't have more than a high school education, and even up to that, it's not much. So I feel like people are smart in different ways. Obviously, street smart, industry smart. Just you learn different things. I missed that whole experience with prom and cliques and classes and lockers, but I also was doing it really big for someone that age.
Dude, you did it bigger than anyone. Yeah,
You're
like,
a legend, bro.
It's insane. Like no one could have done it.
Yeah, and I was, and to think about it like that is funny because now it's like you kind of learn that people have their moments. Like everyone, like when you're in a Rat Pack sort of friend group in Hollywood, it's like yeah, well, Jack's having his moment, but that's gonna end, and then it's gonna be Noah's moment, and Noah's gonna have like his really, really big Netflix moment, and that's kind of gonna end, but he's still gonna be like a really big star from that. And then you got Sterling. Oh, Sterling's on a Netflix show, like he's kind of having a moment. So it's just like you gotta take turns and just support each other. And what I've learned in the industry and in the music industry as well, and this new thing that I'm doing is that it's all a people thing, and it's really about gassing people up and just encouraging people, and being a fan. A lot of people are too cool to be fans, and it's like you just got to support your local artist community, because you really are kind of growing together and experiencing life together and inspiring each other. So being a unified front in that is going to make the art and the society so much more vibrant.
Who's your Rat Pack?
Luke Benward, Sterling Bowman, Jake Walker, Peyton Meyer on their was on a Disney show. Leo Howard, just like a lot of those Disney and Nick guys, we would hang out, and like that was kind of the best thing to do when you were that age acting. If you did Disney and Nick, like you were like semi legit, and if you're doing like even more legit stuff, obviously you're more legit. But basically, like that was kind of like that was the clique, if anything, of the high school thing. It's like I still would be nice and kind to everybody, but like there is a certain like he's working, he's on shows, like you're not. Like it kind of was that sort of clique thing. Like whether you're in the basketball team or you're on the cheer squad or you're in science club, it's like that was kind of that parallel of that cliquey high schoolness.
Jack, everyone's wondering. We've got it on our list here. I have several videos of you sliming people. I don't know if you were slimed. Did you ever get slimed? Did you what's your contact with the Nickelodeon slime here? It's I gotta know, what is it? Does it taste weird? Did you get slimed? What's the slime?
Plenty of times situation? I've gotten slimed. It's not great. It's really messy, and I did. Sometimes are worse than others. Every slime is not created equal. Okay?
For real? It's not a uniform.
Sometimes you get a bucket of slime, and it's like kind of on your shoulder, and you're like, oh, like that's not that bad. This is fun. And then they have you go through a slime car wash with Nick Jonas on stage, and at the KCAs, and then it's in your ears, and then it's in your pants and your crevasses, and
Was that something you were worried about? Like when you first got cast on the Thundermans, you're like, okay, Nickelodeon.
It's not something I really thought of, because to be honest, I'm so glad I got the Thundermans, and it could have been a couple of different shows at the time that were Disney and Nick, and I'm so glad I got the Thundermans. But to be honest, I really watched Disney more. For me, it was the drawing the bunny ear, and that never happened. That was kind of like my dream, but it just goes to show that like those shows that were going on around the time that Thundermans was going on, that I was kind of testing for all three, and I thought I wanted this, but it never works out the way you think, and this was Thundermans was clearly the more iconic, legendary show out of all of them, and I'm just you never can plan. You gotta just go with the flow and work hard and put yourself in good positions and take what you can get, and don't be conceited and don't be trite. Yeah.
It's a home run. Jack, when did you get tattoos? What's going on?
I try to be like slow about it, I don't want to be in too much of like hair and makeup when I'm doing movies, but like I have like my whole arm like clean, but above my arm, like every few months, they're like so addicting, and I just love them. Like they're such memories, and I love life so much, and it's easy to like how we said earlier, conversations get lost, and it's easy to misplace times in your life. For me, they're like time holders. It's like, cool. That's when this was happening in my life, and and that was connected to this, and it's like I look over there, and it's like, that was after that, and it's memories, and the time we spend together is really the most important thing, and that's kind of why I get the tats, and I do kind of like, if I had it my way, I would have a lot more. I have like 22.
22. Do you remember your first one and how old you were when you got it?
Yeah, it was my mom's name and my dad's handwriting right here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And when was that?
I was 18.
Oh, wow. Cool. So like
Yeah.
immediately as soon as you could get a tattoo, you just
Yeah.
went for it.
Yeah, and it was my mom's name, so like that was the first one I knew I was gonna show her, you know.
Your
And,
parents can't get
that
mad.
was
Yeah,
Good way to like rip the band-aid off. And yeah, I got one for my show that I got a little bit after that. I have like an album cover. I have some dice. I have like a flower on my hand. I have a hand tat.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Have
That
you ever
probably
gotten
hurts.
a tattoo that you regret?
I have a couple that are questionable.
22. That's a good hit-miss ratio. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
just a couple that are questionable. Yeah, but I like them even still. They all my tattoos mean something for sure. Even the silly ones.
Who was your high school crush? Celebrity crush?
Oh, Megan Fox for sure.
For sure. Why was that? Transformers?
Yeah, I was that generation who saw the on the hood shot, and everything was different.
You weren't in high school during Transformers because I think I was in middle school during Transformers. Transformers was like 2004, or was it just when you saw
But
it?
that was when I saw it. Yeah, like at that age, I remember Megan Fox in that movie was like my first like celebrity crush at that age. Not that
Did
that
you see-
movie had just come out, but I was too young to see that movie when it came out, you know. But at
Yeah.
that time, I had watched that movie, obviously, you know.
That's a good answer.
Megan
Did you
Fox
see
and Selena Gomez, of course,
From what specifically? What was like Selena?
from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, okay. Very
What
good.
else?
Have you met Selena? Did you ever fulfill
I
the?
have. I've spent time with Selena.
That
Did
was-
you
Yeah.
tell her?
That I had a crush on her?
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Have you met Megan Fox?
Nope. No.
Well,
Close. Megan, come on.
Like I've
Megan,
met-
if you wouldn't mind joining us, well.
I've met MGK a couple of times. I have a friend that knows him, and Megan, I've been like around, but I definitely wasn't gonna be like, "Sup?" You know?
Were you in? We did a movie with MGK. Were you guys chatting like music and stuff?
No, I didn't do a movie with MGK. I know you guys did.
We did. No, I was curious. Like when you met with him, was it more on the music side of things or the acting side, or just
It was on
hanging
just
out?
like he knew someone I knew vibe, and we were like at the same comedy club.
Oh, comedy club. What comedy club?
We were at the Comedy Store.
Nice, on Sunset.
Yep. So it wasn't
Cool.
like a music or acting thing. It was just like,
It was just
oh,
a
like, we
hang.
happened to be at the same place. Yeah.
So I did a deep dive. You've been doing music forever. I saw a video of you that's 10 years old. You look like Justin Bieber. This is way
Exactly.
before Kid Baron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Justin
what-
Bieber looked like me.
Yeah, exactly. Justin Bieber ripped you off. And your song was better than any of his, by the way. I fucking loved it.
Which
When
one?
have you shit, it was
Slingshot?
Slingshot. Yeah.
G-string shot?
It was G string cheese. No, Slingshot. I was watching that this afternoon. I was like, this is a great song. Why?
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't write
So-
it.
Oh, well, you performed it. It was great. Who
That
wrote
was
it?
that era for me, is like trying that music thing out. I had someone write that song. I kind of wrote it with him, like not really. But that era, before Thundermans, that was like, I was kind of like maybe thinking about going for music. And I just wasn't passionate about it yet. And I didn't have anything to say. Like I knew if I did music, I'd want it to be my thing and be original, be something no one's ever done before or said before. And I just kind of realized that I really wanted more life to live. And then Thundermans came along, and there was that.
Transitioning off Comedy Store, you've played a number of shows at Sunset Boulevard at the Viper Room, which is the coolest venue in my opinion, and so cool that you play there. How did Kid Baron start? How did you form the band?
Oh man, it came from a really like rough time in my life, like when my parents broke up and everything was just crazy for me. Everything was sideways, and it just fucking sucked. And I just was able to kind of make music out of it, and that's where the band started, bro. And it has totally just like transformed the way that I look at life and hard times, and it's been such a tool for me in therapy, you know. and kind of what the world sees is sort of secondary. You know, like we've been a band for 3 years, but we have 4 songs out. So like it's very like we're writing a lot of songs. We have a lot of songs, but what I'm choosing to sort of how to start this story. Like I know this is the story I want to tell. Like this is the project I want to make, but it's gonna be a really long burn, and I'm going very slow and being very strategic about the tracks that are actually released.
And how did you form the band? Do you know all the are they all friends of yours?
One of my buddies was in a band, and he played at one of my parties. I threw a party, and it was a big party. It's probably the biggest party I ever thrown. And he played with his band at the party, and the guitar player I just loved so much. I'd never met him before, and now he's my guitar player in my band, and we're like best friends. Um,
Yeah.
so just 3 friends, and then Tristan, that guy has been in it with me since the beginning. And for bass and drums, we've switched a few times, but we've had this drummer for almost 2 years. He's from the OC, got connected to him through like a manager type person, and it was so clicky with him. Like immediately, sort of picked up the chemistry with him that he moved his life up here from OC so he could be here for the amount of practices that I wanted to have. Like he literally was about to get married, and he got married like a couple months later. But
I think
yeah,
I just said the band ruined his marriage.
right? That's what you would think, but the situation really is like she's a school teacher. He teaches music to kids, like that's his job. He's such a solid dude. Like there's just such a solid couple. They got married. They moved up here. They live in Reseda now, and he's able to not have to drive like over an hour to be at practice and at things that we're doing. But he's been in it almost 2 years, and we're a 3-piece right now. We actually don't have a bass player full time. We have Tristan's brother Nathan. Shout out Bankston. That he is kind of playing bass right now when we have shows. But he's also a producer, so he doesn't really have the time to fully be involved in the band. So we're a 3-piece right now, and it's going really good. I really like the cohesive workflow of 3 people. We're all on the same page all the time. It's super easy. But we're definitely open to having a bassist, and I really want, if we get a 4th person, I really want them to be a good singer. I'm excited about that possibility.
What's the future look like for you? Is it more acting? Is it more music? Is it all of the above? Where's your passion lie? What should we look forward to?
Yeah, man. Like I'm really trying to develop both crafts right now. I'm in acting class every Wednesday night, and I'm just loving it. I'm in this new program, this new school, Anthony Mandela's school in Hollywood, and I just never been in such a great class, and I'm just enjoying it so much, and feel like I'm learning so much. And on the music side, we just booked the Roxy. We're headlining in January, which is such a surreal thing that just happened a week ago, and
It's epic. Congrats, man.
so epic. Thanks. And we've only been doing little show gigs since the beginning of 2022. So it's been like a year and a half since we've been playing like club gigs.
Yeah.
The Molly Malones, the Vipers, the Whiskeys, all those. Right there in West Hollywood. So what's next is really getting ready for that show. Obviously the music, yeah, like I said earlier, it's been a slow grind, kind of figuring out the sound and the story I wanted to tell. But I do feel like now, like for example, we're usually like the past couple years since we've been releasing, we started in April of last year, so it's only been like a little over a year since we've been releasing music. But it's been like 4 songs, and usually it'd be like, oh, I think that one's going to be the next song, or I think this one's going to be the next song. But right now, in this moment, we know what the next 3 songs are going to be. So like the workflow is starting to really pick up pace, and I'm starting to figure out, what I like, and we're working together, better and better. So I think it's gonna pick up the pace. I'm shooting some stuff on Monday for our next single. We just got the mix in a couple days ago, and I just, like I kind of talked about earlier, like the online and the content is it's tough for me because, like I said, I just kind of want to be a performer, and that's why I moved here and everything. But I'm trying to get ahead of the ball, and I have a videographer coming on Monday, so gonna start promotion for that for our next single called "Everybody Needs Somebody" with the Dangerous Summer featuring on the track. They are a sick band, and we're super happy about that. We actually opened for them at the Roxy last year, and they really were really great guys and gave us a lot of cool advice, and we partied with them, and yeah. And then he ended up AJ, their lead singer, is on this next Kid Baron song, so it's really cool.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm so stoked for you. I mean, seeing all the shows you're doing at Viper Room is insane. The fact that you're headlining at Roxy is like a dream come true for everyone.
It
It's
is.
cool.
It is.
It's
We
cool as hell,
we
man.
we did the Troubadour a few weeks ago, and that was our last headliner. And we were so close to selling it out. I should just say it's sold out, but if it wasn't 4th of July, it would have been sold out. It was like 460 of like 500 cap.
That's wild.
And our ticket sales have just been continued to grow, and seeing our little hometown fan base, audience, friends, just exponentially multiply right in front of our eyes over the past 18 months. It's so cool, man. It's so cool, like the show that we get to put on, and like when my friends come to see me, and like because I practice with the band like two times a week consistently, and so that's just like with the band practice. So like just kind of what I've been working out in my own life, and it's a real show. We like to be dramatic and theatric, and that's our goal, is to kind of not just play songs, but I loved going to shows and concerts, and my favorite thing was when artists would talk about something really really real, or something's going on with them, or something that they're just figuring out in their head too, and it just lets you into this thing that feels so like, well, they're on stage, and that I could never possibly do what they're doing. It kind of just lifts up that veil, and it makes the audience really feel like a part of it, and that's what Kid Baron is trying to do. The idea of Kid Baron is it's like a double meaning of being a leader like a Baron, and missing stuff like your Baron, and the idea isn't that I'm Kid Baron, and it's not. It's a band. It's like I'm Kid Baron, we're Kid Baron, and you all are Kid Baron. If you get this message, if you find this message to be topical and relatable for your life, I think just that it's nothing new. Like, it's not anything crazy, but just the message is like, shit is gonna happen to you in life, and you will lose stuff so important to you that you don't even know what the point is in going on. But you have to use it. You have to use it to motivate you. You have to flip it. You have to flip the script into something, make something positive out of it. Like art. That's why art is so popular, because it's so abstract, and it's really just how you're feeling. In all mediums of it. And what people want to see truly is just a real fucking thing. That's why we watch movies. We watch movies because you kind of get to be in that moment with them, and there's nothing more important in that character's life than that moment. And so, going to acting class recently and being in this new school, I've had to really like peel back a lot of like defense mechanisms in this character that I was playing on the Thundermans, and it's this square perfect boy who doesn't doesn't swear, or this Nickelodeon cookie cutter kid, and it's not who I am. And but I've been acting like that. I've been acting like, even in my scenes, I've been acting like that in my life. So I've been playing this character, and it's I'm so grateful to Nickelodeon and what they've gave me, but I have to fight now to sort of become a real actor and a real person, and get real and emotional, when I've been programmed my whole life to not cry, and I haven't really seen that in my personal upbringing, as a guy. So it is what it is, man.
That's really well said, and I think that shares a sentiment with every movie we try and make, which is like, you're gonna mess up, but the kids are all right. We just want to send it off on a positive attitude, and like, yeah, kids are idiots, but you got to learn and just keep growing and
Yeah.
see what else is out there.
That is it, and it's the time to fuck up and make mistakes, and like everybody gives you slack when you're a kid, you know, like you're not an adult, you're not really like responsible, you know, like you're.
It's
and
so
it's
ridiculous
true that
to
like
think. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that it's true what they say like about your frontal cortex lobe or whatever. Like when I turned 25, like everything changed for me. Like just the way that I view everything, you know, my worldview, the way I make decisions, what the things I take into consideration. Like I felt such a dramatic shift in my brain. Yeah.
Dude, mine never developed. I'm wearing flip flops at work. It doesn't make sense. Jack, you're the man. We're all such huge fans of yours. Between every show and movie you've been in, you're an insanely talented person. You're so funny. You're so cool. Your music is insanely good. And I can't thank you enough for joining us. And I just want to ask, like, is there anything that you want to put out there to plug or promote or anything like that?
Sid is Dead, starring Joey Bragg.
Jack Griffo, Audrey Whippy.
New Thundermans is coming next year. You know, new Kid Baron music is coming very soon.
Dude, you're the best. Thank you so much for doing this. It was an awesome to hear your story. I know we play pickleball a ton, but I've never actually heard your past, and it was fascinating to hear. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I had a great time, and it was very fun. And thank you guys for having me.
All right, brother. See everyone later.
All right, pickleball soon.
Pickle up later.